Good morning. We'll call this meeting of the House Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee to order. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Representatives Fritz, Grills, Hardaway, Harris, Holsey, Hurt, Jones, Marsh, Martin, Reedy, Ritchie, Shaw, Travis, Vital, Wright, Vice Chair Darby, Chairman Todd. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you for that. And at this time, I'm going to call on Representative and Vice Chair Darby to lead us in the pledge, and then I'll ask Representative Halsey to lead us in a prayer immediately thereafter. Please stand. Thank you so much. Any personal orders this morning before we get started on our agenda? I have one. I would like to welcome the State FFA Secretary who is here with us this morning, Ms. Faith Cook. You stand up. Thank you. Everybody welcome her. I have a number of esteemed guests with us today. Appreciate you all joining us today. Wanted to read something to you this morning. Bear with me because this is written a long time ago, and so the language is a little bit different than what we have today, what we normally use, but it's very interesting. This is just a tidbit from the past. It's an excerpt from The Tennessee Farmer by Thomas Emerson on agriculture. This is an excerpt from The Tennessee Farmer written in 1836. Quote, "If it be true that he who makes two blades of grass grow where only one grew before is a greater benefactor to mankind than all heroes who have ever lived, it follows then that agriculture is entitled to a high and honorable rank among human occupations. So it is generally esteemed in some countries, and so it is esteemed by the wise and virtuous in all countries. But as in this age of vanity and selflessness, things are very rarely estimated according to their intrinsic value, it will be necessary, in order to attract to agriculture that high regard to which it is entitled, to show that in addition to its indispensable necessity to the very existence of the human race, and consequently of all that wealth, fame, and power which are so eagerly sought after and so inordinately pursued by the mass of mankind, and to all its other high claims to regard, it is capable also of ministering even to the gratification of avarice. We shall venture to assert, in defiance of the commonly received opinions on this subject, that taking all things into the account, the enlightened, industrious, and economical farmer or planter has no reason to envy those of other occupations on account of their superior advantages for the acquisition of wealth, and this assertion we have no doubt of being able to sustain." So some very kind comments about agriculture and those that are producing the food and fiber and fuel that we need to sustain our everyday lives. At this time, we'll take up our first bill, and we're going to go a little bit out of order without objection. We're going to take up item number 4, HJR 0124 by Speaker Marsh. We have a motion and a second. Sir, you are properly before the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my honor today to be before the committee and introduce John Chip Salzman for an appointment of Commissioner to the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency. For those who don't know Chip, he's a lifelong hunter, a lifelong Tennessean, and from my understanding, a terrible fisherman. Chip is currently serving out the remaining term on the commission, and this will serve as a full appointment to the TWRA. I'm honored to present to you John Chip Salzman for your consideration to be appointed to the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if the committee would entertain this, we will go out of session and hear from the Honorable Mr. Chip Saltzman, without objection, without a session. Thank you, Mr. Saltzman. Good to see you today.
Good to see you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Speaker Marsh, members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Like the Speaker said, my name is Chip Saltzman. I'm a lifelong hunter, and I'm probably one of the few people that you met that are actually from Nashville. I'm born and bred, so I know we've been unicorns lately, but it's good to see you today. I'm grateful to discuss the TWRA with you today and my appointment, if approved. I look forward to continuing to work alongside members of the General Assembly to ensure that Tennessee is the best place in the nation to enjoy the outdoors. My love affair with hunting and fishing began, like most folks, with my dad. I can vividly remember my first duck hunt when I was 8 years old with my father. I still remember the cold water hitting my face in the boat, the absolute quiet of an early morning in a duck blind, waiting for the first wave of ducks to fly in, and the excitement of my first shot, and most importantly, spending time with my father. Now, some of my fondest memories over the last 50 years have been with my dad in a field or in a duck blind. And although my story isn't terribly unique, it certainly is a lot less common today than it was back then. One of my goals at the TWRA is to make sure that every young boy and girl has the opportunity to make their own memories. Tennessee is the most beautiful state in the country. We have abundant resources in our backyard. There's no reason we shouldn't be a beacon for every family that wants to enjoy the outdoors. As some of you may know, my wife and I welcomed a son this year, and right in the middle of duck season. Now, that was terrible planning. My wife and I are working through that. But while at home with our new baby the last couple of weeks, it focused my attention on what I want to do with the TWRA. Having great resources across the state that I can enjoy with my own son like I had with my dad. To experience the first opening day with him, or maybe going down to the local lake or river, dropping a line in the water. I want to spend my time on the commission to make sure that people have the opportunity and access to our state's abundant resources, regardless of where they come from. I want to focus on continuing the strong fiscal responsibility of the commission to ensure a strong foundation for generations to come. And most importantly, to make sure in a world that's moving faster every day, that to allow families, to allow those sons and daughters to spend time with their mom and dads, to slow down and enjoy the stillness of nature and reconnect with each other. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to take any questions and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming before us and your comments. That really hits home to what we're looking for in a candidate for this position, to represent the interest of the hunters and fishermen and all of Tennesseans on this commission. It's very important to us. We appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
Members, any questions for the candidate? So then we'll go back and, Mr. Martin, Representative Martin.
I'll just make a quick comment. I think I've known you for several years, Chip, and I appreciate your willingness to step up and serve in this. And I think one thing that stands out to me the most is when we've had conversations is that generational thinking of preserving this for our future kids and their kids. So I appreciate that aspect of it and have no reservation in you doing this. But appreciate your willingness to serve our state in this capacity.
Great. Thank you, Representative Martin.
Thank you, sir. Representative Hardaway.
Thank you, and good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
I'm from Memphis, and of course, I'd like to know what your experience is and what your intentions are in reference to the Mississippi River.
Yeah, so as a Christian Brothers College graduate, I've spent a lot of time in Memphis.
Did she say college or
Yeah,
university?
I went to college before. I'm old. I went to college before they changed their name to university.
You're not the only old one, sir.
So I spent a lot of time on East Parkway South. And I think there's a lot of questions that we have to deal with the Mississippi River, especially. I know in one of our last meetings, we talked about boat access and the boat docks being closed in a timely manner. I know that Chairman Box and our executive director, Jason Maxidon, we've had those conversations. And I think we look at the Mississippi River as what it is, an unbelievable resource for the state of Tennessee. And if we can use that in a way to attract hunters and fishermen from all across the region and, quite frankly, all across the country, You're being from Memphis, you know the amazing sunsets they have there, so we know what it's like being in Memphis in May at the barbecue contest. And even though that's not under the preview of the TWRA, although I would like it to be, that way we could have good barbecue, I think we use it exactly like we do our other resource. An unbelievable opportunity to attract people from all over our country right here in Tennessee.
Thank you. We're pretty proud of the river and, of course, the Memphis aquifer,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about a little later, but it'll certainly be impacted by your decisions also.
Well, I travel back and forth quite a bit, and if that's something that you ever want to discuss, my guess is you may know a few better places to eat than me, but I'd be happy to come break bread with you and talk about those.
Consider it done.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Well, without objection, we'll go back into session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Speaker Marsh, any further comments?
I just appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, sir. Question's been called. Any objections calling the question? Seeing none, we'll be voting on HJR 124. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Congratulations. That goes to calendar and rules. Next on our agenda, we have House Bill 53. Representative Lynn, you are recognized on House Bill 53. You are properly before us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This bill is an administration bill. The Tennessee Association of Fairs is a member of the State Fair and Exposition Commission. But the Comptroller's Office noticed that the law says the executive director of the Tennessee Association of Fairs shall be appointed to serve. However, because they're a volunteer organization, they don't have an executive director. So we've been requested to change the law to just say a representative of the Tennessee Association of Fairs shall serve.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have heard the motion and you've heard the bill. Any questions on the bill? Seeing none, we'll be voting on House Bill 53. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. House Bill 53 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next is House Bill 80. Let's see, Representative Hale, I believe, is presenting this one. Do I have a motion? We have a motion and a second, sir. You are properly before us. You're recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee. There we go. Good morning, Chairman and committee. House Bill 80 is an administrative bill that was brought to me by TDEC. This legislation removes an unnecessary and duplicating administrative requirement for both the regulated community and also the department related to Class 5 underground injection control activities, or UICs. Class 5 UIC activities have minimal environmental impact and are primarily include stormwater diversion to sinkholes and sewage activities such as large drip or septic systems. These activities are authorized at both state and federal level by rule, which means that the activity may operate without a permit as long as the operators submit an inventory information to TDEC and verify that they are authorized to inject. Because these activities are authorized by rule, there is no permit or authorization to renew. Let me be clear that this legislation will not change any of the regulations that are protective of water quality. Secondly, it will not diminish the responsibility of the UIC owner to maintain compliance with these regulations. And thirdly, it will not change the information currently available to the public on TDEC's data viewer related to Class 5 UICs operating in our state.
Thank you, Representative. Appreciate that explanation. And as you heard, this is strictly about taking a deadline, an expiration date off of a permit. Doesn't change the permit or the requirements, and just gets us in line with federal law, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
The federal regulations. Any questions on this bill related to the subject matter? Question been called. Without objection, we'll be voting on House Bill 80. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 80 moves on to Finance, Ways, and Means.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda is House Bill 81. I think this is Representative Capley. Do I have a motion? Have a motion and a second. Sir, you're properly before us. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me begin by saying this is a TDEC administration bill. House Bill 81 will allow Tennessee State Parks to disclose information contained in motor vehicle accident reports in the same manner as these reports are disclosed in the rest of the state. Under current law, state park staff need the express authorization of the guests to do so. This requirement obviously creates unnecessary operational difficulties for both state park staff and guests, so this would eliminate the unnecessary difficulties caused by the current law by allowing for increased disclosure of these records where no protection is needed.
Thank you for that explanation. Is this your first bill, Representative Capley?
Yes, sir. This is my first bill before a full committee.
Okay. Thank you for that, sir.
Yes, sir.
Representative Grills, you're recognized.
Mr. Capley, where did you get your attire?
Would you like the specifics of my tie, or
Yes,
do you
sir.
want to go, okay, piece by piece? So my tie, I believe I got at the caucus retreat this past fall. And then the suit, I believe, is either a Joseph A. Banks, or I might have purchased it at Belk. I'm not 100% sure where I got it at.
Well, how come it looks just like mine?
I think
Do you look up to me for some reason?
No comment on that, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to roll his bill to the hill of the calendar.
Motion's been made to roll this 1 week. Without objection, roll 1 week. I think that concludes our bills for today. Any other business before the committee? Chairman Darby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just recognized some faces out there in the crowd. We've got Ann Johnson, an ag teacher and FFA advisor from Munford. We've got Miss Haley Williams, ag teacher and CTE director from Crockett County, and our very own Lindsay Parham from Weakley County, our CTE director. And I want to welcome them for being here in the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. I did want to ask if John McFadden might be with us this morning. There was a presentation that was planned, and we have not been able to reach him this morning, so I don't think so. We do have a presentation today from Walters State Community College by Joseph Cairns. If Mr. Cairns is here, if he'd come up and prepare what you have for us, and we'll go out of session. Without objection, we'll go out of session to hear this presentation.
All right. Well, my name is Dr. Tony Mixa. I'm the president of Walters State Community College. We really appreciate this opportunity to be here to talk to you about our butchery program. You may not know this. Well, first I want to step back and say I want to thank all the legislators for all you've done in terms of supporting the colleges and the community colleges. Your support gives us the ability to do the workforce training that we do out there, as well as get students onto their four-year institution. You may not know this about Walters State, but this year we're the #1 community college in the state of Tennessee. We get to hold that ranking until March, when I'm sure another school will come in right behind and get that. But we're #1 because of the funding formula and the results of the data from that funding formula, and the TBR then gives us that ranking. But the other reason why we're #1 is some of the innovative programs that we're doing, specifically those programs that are set up to take care of our workforce. And that is what we're going to talk to you about today. Hopefully you're ready to go, Joe. And we got to put a flash drive in, but we are ready to go. So it's our butchery program. Thank you very much. Do you need me to?
Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. We really appreciate the opportunity to come here and share with you guys what it is that we're about. So in the past 10 years, we've realized and recognized the need for meat processors throughout the state. I'm the department head of our culinary program at Walter State in Sevierville, and we've worked with our community members, partners in retail and wholesale, and realized over the last 10 years that there's a huge disparity in the need for meat cutters and processors. And so in working with those partners, we've put together a butchery program that we're going to launch this fall. And so without further ado, I'll kind of run through the PowerPoint here that we've got. I guess I'm going to have to do it from here. So what we've got is our campus in Sevierville, where our culinary program is located. And from there, we partner with all the different 10 counties in our service area, but this program is going to be offered throughout the state. The classes that we'll have for this 1-year, 2-semester program will be offered in 2 consecutive days. So if someone were to come from the Nashville area, for example, they could come and spend 1 night and knock those classes out. So it's our butchery program in particular that we're talking about, although we do have a culinary program. The handout that I've provided you with has the curriculi for all 3 programs, the certificate program, the AAS culinary program, and the butchery programs as well, with contact information on the backside. So I'll give you a timeline on kind of how things went down, but in just December this past year, we made the formal announcement with the support of a lot of community members. We were able to put that together. We also formed a partnership with a private group in Germany, where we are working on forming an apprenticeship and a pathway for students to go travel abroad and learn traditional German techniques in butchering. So as far as the timeline goes, we were awarded one of the GIVE 2.0 grants. We received, I think it was $987,000 for our culinary program, of which most of that's been poured back into high school programs, but as well, the formation of our butchery program, our cooler space, all the equipment like that we need. We formed this relationship with the German Chamber of Commerce in South Thuringia, which is south central Germany. We're going to be going there in May to further solidify that relationship. Our curriculum was approved internally, then by the state TBR, and then through our accrediting agency, SACS, this past year. Our apprenticeship paths that we've got for both retail and wholesale are approved by the Department of Labor, and those are available, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. So we've got our faculty in place, we've got our lab space in place. They're starting on the construction in the next few weeks, and our classes will start this fall. And again, that's a fall start for a 2-semester, 30-credit-hour butchery certificate that will eventually become an AAS in butchery as well. So as far as where we really want to emphasize this is with the benefits that we've got, that they don't serve the college, they serve the needs of our community, the students, and all the partners that are involved with this. Of course, we're looking at strengthened skilled force, going through everything from traditional chefs into retail, grocery work, and as we all know, processors are just searching hard for the labor that we need. We don't have the skilled labor that we have had in years past, so this is hopefully going to be able to give a great injection into that. But as well, the opportunity for small business creation, and a lot of what we're doing is leaning towards that as well on the business side of things. So increasing the number of people that work in this field provides more opportunities for the supply chain, strengthen smaller businesses, and even just in our area, number of people we've talked to said that they could double their workforce overnight if they had skilled labor, which they don't have. We're the only program in the state at this time that's offering a butchery program, so it's a great resource, and we hope to be able to provide as many opportunities as we can. So a lot of our students as well that are currently in our culinary program can benefit from this. It's just a transfer of a handful of classes they need to take in addition to our culinary program, so to emphasize not just for the butchery side of things, but also the restaurant industry as well. So the big thing for all of this is about kind of trying to keep everything at home here in Tennessee. We service a 10-county service area, but what we're doing is going to provide a service to the entire state. And so hopefully through that, we'll be getting more and more trained people out into the field. Saw Charlie Hurd back here today. He has supported us through the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association. In fact, we were in the December issue as a feature article. They work with us as well as the Tennessee Beef Industry Council in providing us with resources and contacts. Again, we're partnering together the best that we can with the industries that exist already and trying to provide new resources that we can further grow with. So the certificate, it covers everything from fabrication of all the different proteins, beef, pork, lamb, veal, seafood, entrepreneurial skills, marketing skills. So insight and not just how we actually provide meat cutting skills, but how that actually translates into marketing and management of that from the fiscal side. So we are looking mainly at on-site at retail operations where we go off-site to do wholesale slaughtering and like that, because we're not set up to do full euthanization, and slaughtering of whole animals. But we do have a pathway with our apprenticeships that allow for the students that want to get that wholesale experience to go out into the field and work with our wholesale partners. We'll have field trips as well to different processing facilities where they'll gain that perspective and knowledge. And so with the background and the classes we've got, lecture classes and hands-on lab classes, there will be history of the formation of the meat industry, how things work, the science of meat, musculature, and how that actually translates into a person who's a professional on meat, if you will. Lastly, of course, every chef has to have great knife skills. Every butcher has to have great knife skills. So we're going to provide the opportunity through lab opportunities and through comprehensive work-based learning for the students to get tons of experience while they're working in the field and with instruction and oversight to hopefully provide them with the resources that they need to move forward. Lastly, insight into lots of different things, from how to make sausages, how to marinate things. There's some culinary classes involved with this as well, so they'll learn fundamental, foundational culinary cooking skills, as well as the butchery skills in the finishing of sales of items. So we'll kind of fly through the next two slides that will show us what we've got on the what the curriculum looks like. That's also included in the handout that you've got, but starting out with sanitation, safety, different types of math, costing, fundamental cooking skills, and then getting into the meat cutting itself. Meat Cutter 1 and 2 are the work-based learning on-site with our partner programs, our partners in the community. And then we finish up with classes like Garde Manger, where they'll actually be making sausage and terrines and different things, utilizing every cut that they've got on the animals. So that's a 30 credit hour, 2-semester certificate. We've also got this butchery apprenticeship, and this provides a lot more autonomy for our partners in the community that may not have someone that needs to follow through and go to school all the time, but on-site training through for credit and not for credit classes that go through our workforce development. So it does provide a lot more opportunity and for retention and training on-site for the specific needs of that operation, be it wholesale or retail. So lastly, we've got this partnership with our friends in Germany. It'll provide our students with an opportunity to have a pathway to go do internships, not to mention they come frequently. This April will be the 3rd time they're coming back over here and working with our students and creating different opportunities on making sausages, aligning ourselves with the traditional ways that they do apprenticeships in Europe, which is a little bit different than what we do here. So it's a great opportunity. I certainly appreciate the time that you guys have provided for us to share with you what we're doing. And if you have any questions, I'd love to provide you with a little more insight of what we're doing.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you coming and sharing this with us. I know we do have some questions. Representative Halsey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. I appreciate what you're doing.
You're welcome.
I understand Communist China has purchased a great deal of the meat processing places in this country.
This is true.
And so I might have missed what you said. I understand what you have right now. Starting off, somebody brings you a half a beef and you teach your students how to cut it up and do it right. Is there a plan, or did I miss it, to establish a meat processing plant?
So currently we're working with Harris Meats out of Greenville. That's the one that we've got right now that we're secured with. We actually have our apprenticeship in place that does wholesale operations with fabrication. But our goal is to actually partner with multiple different area providers where we can actually receive the cattle or the lamb, whatever it may be, directly from those local businesses that we can turn around and fabricate at those particular specified indicated processing facilities. The real goal is to increase the number of processing facilities, because there's not enough of the facilities and there's not enough staffing at the facilities that we currently have.
Representative, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for your time. Thank you for keeping Tennessee's community colleges best in the nation and looking ahead. So do we have any economic forecasts on what this will do to the cattle producers in Tennessee as far as economic advantage, or for revenue for the state, what we can bring in through having this expertise in our workforce.
Mr. Cairns?
There are no specified formulas or figures in place, but from the people that we've talked to, from looking at the data on the Department of Labor, the region that we're in is one of the lowest, there are more jobs there than practically anywhere else in the country as far as the need for meat cutters. As I stated earlier, a number of the places that we work with have said, Food City told me at one point they could hire 40 meat cutters today if they had them. So again, it'll provide more autonomy for them to have the highest paid positions they've got in, at particular retail outlets. And at Harris Meats, they said they could double their staff if they had more people. So it really does provide for plenty of opportunities and growth.
Representative Fritz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one follow-up. And my question was primarily toward what Mr. Halsey was asking about the wholesale side. Have we done any studies there? It seems to me that there would be an advantage for our state if we had those wholesale capabilities within the state, not only to counter the communist Chinese, but also to reduce the supply chain distance and help the food prices in Tennessee. Are we looking at that?
Mr. Cairns?
Yeah, absolutely. The main focus for us is that we want to have at least 2 more in the region where we are in our service area, processing facilities. There's one that's been proposed in Jefferson County right now, and I know they're working towards that, but that's going to be the main thing to regionally have processing facilities that can service regions of the state. So that is the model that we're looking at. You're welcome.
Representative Grills?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. Do you know what the time it takes now to get on a list in order to have an animal?
I've heard anywhere from 6 months to 18 months.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's backed up.
I'm actually from West Tennessee, and in order for us to get one, it's about a 12-month waiting period. So I can see that this right here being a huge advantage for Tennesseans. And back when the COVID crisis hit us, we were dependent upon the middle western states for all of our processing, and there would become a shortage of meat through here. And I just think that this is a fantastic way for Tennessee to make sure that we stand alone and we're not dependent on someone else to take care of us.
We see it the same way, and it's not just the opportunity to provide for more meat cutters, but it does open up a greater conversation of growth with processing, with bringing business back here, and then new businesses that don't even exist. We've got a lot of people that really are starting to look at that whole farm-to-table mentality of keeping things local and like that, and this does kind of fill in the gaps
Sure.
of a lot of the things that don't exist right now.
Thank you for being here and for your vision.
You're very welcome. We appreciate the opportunity.
It is encouraging to, as I said earlier, to have this and try to be as independent as we can in this state within our own borders and utilize our own folks and their talents for providing our food. So we do thank you for the work you put in. Any other questions? Representative Hardaway?
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, sir. Your certificate program is the only one in our public higher ed institutions?
Yeah, there's only a handful of actually meat cutting programs in the nation. When we started looking at this, there was about 6 in the nation. Since we started, about that many more have been formed. So I believe that there's a grant in place and something being formed through TCAT in Elizabethton right now. But currently, we're the only one that is slated and has a start date established.
Representative Hardaway?
So I'm assuming that you've made allowance for online curriculum?
There are some aspects to that are available online, but of course, hands-on lab work is always going to be hands-on lab work. Whenever there's the opportunity to provide online resources for students, for example, in this degree path, the sanitation can be online. Some of the OSHA classes that will have an OSHA 10 certification that's involved in one of the classes. So anytime there's an opportunity to do that, that facilitates, the opportunity for students to be able to provide more time for home, family, work, and like that. We try and do that throughout the college.
Representative Hardaway?
Yeah, and it is set up for people to come, on campus, but it does provide that opportunity to cut some of that time that's on campus through online services. Does that answer your question?
Yes, but I still have a couple of more.
Yes.
Even though you have that online capacity, and there's a need to actually have hands-on experience, does that mean that you have plans on expanding or creating partnerships in other parts of the state, like West Tennessee?
We would love to be able to do that from either a partnership role or an advisory role. Certainly us coming out being the first, we've partnered with the American Culinary Federation, who our culinary program is accredited with, to see about accreditation for the butchery program. Once that happens, we'll become the model for replication and how that goes out. And so if we were to have that, that would make it a lot easier to share that information and to do the same in West Tennessee as well.
Representative Hardaway.
And the timeline for that?
For doing that, putting that in place, well, first things first, we're going to try and get ours off the ground and see where we work through the details. But if that's a conversation that you're interested in, certainly we can entertain that and provide you with the resources that we've got at hand to enable that to happen for your constituents.
Representative Hardaway.
All right, just a couple of more on tuition costs and whether dual enrollment, your courses are eligible for dual enrollment for our high school students.
Absolutely. So currently we offer, there's 2 classes that we offer, or 3 classes that we offer for dual enrollment that are directly related to our certificate pathway. It allows students to earn what's referred to as a Certified Fundamentals Cook, which is an EPSO pathway for high school students. So they can earn that through taking just the sanitation class, which is included in our program, culinary math, which is included in this program, but in addition of nutrition for culinary arts. With those 3 classes, they can earn that Certified Fundamentals Cook certification just by taking a test and graduating from the high school program, high school GED and the culinary program. Don't know if there was another part to that.
Representative Hardaway.
Well, I want to, you pretty much addressed it, but I want to wrap up by asking you what the earnings potential is.
Mr. Cairns.
The earnings potential right now for entry-level meat cutters, I would say, is probably $17 to $19 an hour. And there's not really a cap on that because you've got entrepreneurs that have niche businesses. There's a niche meat processing forum online, and you've got just a huge expansion and growth of the vision of different individuals and how they want to see this happen in their communities. So, on Walter State campus, for example, what we're going to be doing initially is partnering with area businesses to provide wholesale cuts for their businesses. That's going to be our outlet, and then ultimately we'll have a meat deli where we'll sell our meats retail there on site. And so it's kind of the same model that we would hope to encourage and support in our community as well.
Representative Hardaway.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Certainly. Representative Reedy, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and likewise, thank you for being here. And this information is for the committee here. We do have Carol McDonald from the Department of Agriculture here. The Ag Enterprise Fund is going to have another round of grants come August, is what I've been told, and maybe she can get that information out to us. And that is to expand our agriculture communities, and part of that is custom slaughterhouses. And so if you've got folks interested in your area that is looking to grow and expand, fit hand in hand with what these folks are trying to do here, and that's the challenge which has already been stated, is finding somebody with the knowledge base that knows how to come in there and process that cut of lamb or hog or just anything. But it is an issue. This committee, we've been talking about the issue for years now. Matter of fact, we had a joint conference committee between the House, the Senate up in Kentucky, and it seemed like Kentucky was ahead of us as far as number of USDA inspected plants compared to Tennessee, and here we are trying to fill the gap. As a cattle farmer, it becomes an issue. You got your older cattle, what happens to them? We take them to the market, they're sold for pennies, they're sent out west, they're processed, the hamburgers brought back, sold to our stores, and we don't make any money on it as a farmer. And my hope is by local operators as such that they will give us a premium for the product that we grow on our Tennessee farms, let us put more money in our pocket so we can grow our operation as well as feeding not only Tennessee but the nation. But thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, our goal is really to close that loop on the flow of food from the farm back into the marketplace. And by doing this, I think it really does kind of provide that opportunity from every provider along the way.
Very good points. I think independence, food independence, and security is critical to all of us in this state, and then certainly supporting our producers as much as we can. Representative Halsey, you recognize.
One more, this is short. When you get to your first graduation class and they have honed their skills and you throw a big T-bone on the grill down there, will you holler at me?
We'd look forward to that, and we certainly would invite you all to come out and visit our campuses, but we're in Sevierville, gorgeous campus on 40 acres, and real excited about expanding into this butchery program because it's going to provide a lot of opportunities, not only for our community, but also yours as well, hopefully. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, sir. Without objection, we'll go back into session. And since we're in session and we have concluded our business, are there any announcements or any further business? Seeing none, without objection, we'll be adjourned.